So September 11th, 2001, I was doing a radio show with Z100 in New York, and we were located in Jersey City, New Jersey. And at the time, that was the tallest building in Jersey City. We were on the 36th floor. So we had this incredible, beautiful view of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. It would be as though you could look across the street, except we were just looking across the Hudson River, unobstructed view. And I'm sure many people have said what a beautiful day that turned out to be. Tuesday, September 11th, 2001 was a gorgeous sunny morning. We were on air doing our show, and we closed the blinds because the sun was so bright. So we didn't know that the World Trade Center was on fire until a listener called and told us. They told us, we turned around, we put up the shade, couldn't believe what we were seeing, but we didn't have the vantage point of knowing exactly what happened. We just saw smoke, we saw some flames because the plane had come into the side of the building that we couldn't see. And I guess in trying to make sense of what we were seeing, we felt like this must have been a small plane. This must have been, maybe people who were touring Manhattan. We couldn't imagine that it was a full passenger plane. So we thought, okay, we'll go back on the air. We'll tell people what's going on, at least what we think is going on, and just stay with it as best we can. We're doing an entertainment show. We're doing a fun, lighthearted show. We're not really a news program, but we are eyewitnesses at this point. So go back on the air, start to talk, and then realize this isn't stopping. This is escalating. This is getting worse. I think we took a break and went to music because we hadn't gone to news yet. We were going to switch over to news. We took a break, went to music, went to look out the window, and the second plane hit. And I know this sounds obvious now in retrospect, but at the time, it was this realization that it was terrorism and it wasn't an accident, and lives were being lost. I mean, even seeing the first one, of course, your first thought is there's people that are hurt. There's not everybody could have survived that, but the devastation, second plane, the panic and the screaming and the okay, we gotta do something. We gotta get back on the air. But this is a bigger story. This is way, way bigger than us. And we don't exactly know what's happening, and we don't want to give wrong information. So we'll just tell people what we're seeing, and then we switched them over to network news so they'd have the official reports. I was working with Elvis Duran at the time and his crew, and he was wonderful and clear-headed and said, we've got to be safe. I think we should go. I grabbed a few of my coworkers who felt safe enough to leave with me. And I said, please, let's leave now, because you kind of felt glued to the spot. Is it safer to stay in the building or to get out of the building? Well, now it looked like they were going after tall buildings. We're the tallest building in Jersey City. I think we better go. I know that I wanted my car because I thought I can't get far without my car. So I took the elevator down to the garage, but my coworkers who were with me didn't want to do that. They just wanted to get outside. I got to the garage. I got my car. I started to drive out Jersey City. Whoever wanted to come with me, I was like, please just come. Let's just go. Let's just go. And Jersey City was absolutely gridlocked. People who would be commuting into Manhattan were stopped and not knowing what to do. And kind of, we're all looking to each other for answers. And I distinctly remember rolling down my window, and there was one man, he's like, what? And I said, it's terrorism, turn around, go west, go back towards Jersey, don't go towards the city. And I wanted to get to my parents who were in further west in Jersey. And I thought, don't take the turnpike, because that kind of swings around by the Statue of Liberty. And are they going after our landmarks, whoever they are? So I just took the internal roads. It was a really long, chaotic ride, stressful ride home. couldn't reach anybody by cell phone. Nothing was working. And as I was heading back on Route 3 West was when the Twin Towers started to fall. So theoretically, I could have seen it in my rear view. I didn't, but heard about it as I was listening on the radio, and wanting to know that my loved ones were well, and trying to reach people. A lot of friends who were working in the downtown area, and just desperate to reach people. And again, because the cell phones weren't working, when I finally got to my parents' house, made sure they were okay, kind of tried to tell them what was going on as best I could, got on the computer, and it was then that people were able to, I don't think it was instant message then. I think we chatted with each other. I just saw names pop up and felt this relief, as I saw friends sign on, I'm okay. But then of course we knew that a lot of people weren't okay, and we weren't going to be okay ever again after experiencing something like this. It's just couldn't know the scope of it in that moment.
What do you remember about going on the air when you returned on air at Z100?
It felt, and Elvis and I had discussed this, it felt for the first time like we were genuinely contributing. Like we feel that way about radio. We feel we're a companion, we're a friend, we're information, but we felt like we've got to go in there. And even though it was a little scary, again, because we weren't sure when this would end, and it was a little scary being in that tallest building, Jersey City, we wanted to go back, and we wanted to do what we could, whatever it was that we could, to help. So Elvis called us in the evening and said, "Are you ready to go back tomorrow morning?" And we said yes. And we went in with the intention of trying to connect people, which is what we did. There were nurses who were working around the clock, who were exhausted, who needed a ride home, and they could put out that message on the air and use the radio to reach people to come pick them up. People that we worked with went across the river and volunteered to bring supplies or do whatever they could. They came back covered in dust. We stayed on the air as long as our energy held up. I believe Cubby took over for us in the afternoon. So I know we were on the air till at least 1 o'clock, if not later in the afternoon. We just felt like we wanted to just keep going and just wanted to help in any way we could possibly help.
Elvis told me that before 9/11, he was actually thinking of leaving radio. The day before, there was a real big meeting, and he was very upset by that meeting. And so he completely did a 180 after 9/11. How, if in any way, did 9/11 change how you view your role on air?
Again, that feeling of I'm really contributing. I'm not just entertaining, which is a very important thing. I feel like being a companion, being a friend is invaluable, but the responsibility of being on air after such a world life-changing event really hit me. And I take it very, very seriously. I always have, but I think I learned even more so that day how important communication is, and keeping the channels of communication open, and how immediate radio is. And we can help, we can be right there in the community and open up our airwaves and help people and reassure people. There were a lot of phone calls coming in about, I'm honored by this, but that hearing our voices was enough to help people stay calm and reassured, because it's like, okay, there's one steady thing I have every day. I listen to these guys every day. They're my friends in the morning. They're still there. If they're there, it's going to be okay. And if I could somehow connect those dots for people in some way, make things just ever so slightly better in what seems an impossible situation. Like at the time felt like, how could this ever be better? I'm so honored. I'm so glad that I could be a part of that.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I'm just still so sorry for all the loss, and my heart goes out to all of us who lost, but especially people, their family members, their loved ones, their friends, people who were dealing with illnesses, who jumped in there, just gave everything. They've given everything, and anything I can do to ever honor the memory of those people that we've lost, those people that have sacrificed, the first responders, everyone who jumped in and cared and just did any possible positive thing they could do. Just carrying on through this was a positive thing, just contributing. I'm just so grateful, and I hope people feel that the memorial can bring them some, I don't know if you can ever have peace from this situation. I hope they find peaceful moments and beauty in it. And again, if there's ever anything I can do to contribute to that, please let me know. I want so much to support people, especially people who are still dealing with illnesses from this. I can't thank you enough for all that you've done for us, for this world.
It's true. We have lost thousands since September 11th to 9/11 illnesses, mostly first responders, but also people who live in the area, people who went back to work a week later when the EPA declared the air was safe. Students are coming down with cancer and not even connecting the dots that, oh, it's because I was there in the days after, in the 8 months after, because if you were there in the 8 months after below Canal Street, you get full free medical care for life from the World Trade Center Health Program. And if you are diagnosed with a 9/11 illness, you get compensation from the Victim Fund, which is in place for the next 70 years, because these illnesses are expected to continue for a lifetime. It is, as we say, 9/11 didn't end with 9/11 or on 9/11. And thank you so much, Christine.
Shelley, thank you. And thank you for spreading the word about such important, vital information. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.